Hello and welcome to the conversation on IndiaPostLive.com, India's first live conversation web TV portal. India features in the list of one of the most unsafe places for women, despite the fact that the collective consciousness of the country was shaken in the Nirbhaya case. Women continue to be eve-teased, harassed and molested. Where are we going as a nation? Take a look.
A woman and her fiancé were assaulted by 4 men at a posh lounge in South Delhi's Chanakyapuri area. The altercation followed after the men passed lewd comments and made gestures to which her fiancé objected. The couple also suffered injuries in the melee. This latest incident has brought into focus that women are not safe even in posh hangouts. Despite several protests, the security measures offered by the Delhi government, especially after the infamous gang rape of a young woman in a moving bus in December 2012, seem toothless. However, these incidents are not limited to Delhi. Metropolitan cities such as Mumbai, Bangalore, Kolkata and Jaipur too have reported high crime rates against women. According to the National Crime Record Bureau, crimes against women increased by 7.1% from 2010 to 2011. According to a CNN report, every 22 minutes, a new rape case is reported in India. With crimes against women on the rise and political leaders making insensitive statements condoning such acts, whom do we turn to for answer?
All right, so why this public apathy when women are harassed and eve-teased? Why is this being done in a country which apparently worships women as goddesses? To talk about that, to take the conversation forward, I have with me in the studio Sudeep Kohli. Sudeep is a writer and a blogger and writes on women's issues as well. I have with us on Google Hangout Vijay Grover. Vijay Grover is a senior journalist from Bangalore. Vijayji, thank you so much for taking out the time and joining us on the conversation.
Welcome.
And all those of you who are watching this, please carry on the conversation. Join in at www.indiapostlive.com. You can also send us your tweets at #IndiaPostLive. Sudeep, let me first go across to you. You know, what really shocked me about this incident in Chanakyapuri was that the bouncers or the people who were there inside the lounge bar did nothing even as this couple was being molested.
Yeah, I think that that talks about the psyche of the people, and you know, I think a lot of what has happened in Delhi recently and in the other metros, I think, you know, is the clash between the classes and the masses. Now what happens is, you know, the people that we work with every day, you know, in our homes or in our neighborhood or in our offices, you know, they aren't really sort of comfortable with the kind of culture that we live in. So a lot of times when we are just being ourselves, they are, you know, they're not comfortable with what they're seeing. So, so what happens is, you know, we have this ever-growing freedom that we are exercising, while for them, coming from where they are, you know, they're still trying to wrap their mind around what they're seeing and trying to imbibe that and understand it, and there is that gap.
So you're saying that for them, seeing a woman have a drink in a bar is something that they are not able to accept?
Let's face it, there are a lot of people who aren't, which frankly just the other night, some of my girlfriends said, you know, let's do a girls' night out. And, you know, we live in Delhi and, you know, we have our drivers and all of that, but no, I just completely would not put myself in that position because there are people out there who, you know, it's the psychology of things. I think at the end of the day, you know, as writers, as bloggers, as activists, you know, we talk about gender and power dynamics and all of that. But at the end of the day, there is this, you know, psychology, and it comes from who you are and the conditioning you've had. So no matter what you're seeing, it's who you've been exposed to, what you've been exposed to growing up. And it takes a very long time to change that mental psyche. And it will take a long time for people who are migrating to Delhi and to the metros to get comfortable and to accept and respect those differences.
Vijayji, let me go across to you now. Bangalore, you know, has been known to be a city which is very open when it comes to these kind of things. I mean, it was called a pub city once, you know, once it lost that tag of garden city and all of that. We are in a time where all of us are asking for pubs to be open till late in the night. Now, when in the midst of all that, such incidents happen. Tell us your thoughts about that.
Well, Nilanjana, you've been familiar with Bangalore, and this is something that you do understand. That, as Sudeep did highlight, that the cultural shock for many people, especially the recent migrants, is something which forces them to act differently or not accept a certain kind of scenarios, which to a traditional metro citizen would be a normal thing.
Yes.
Now that's where we need to also understand and make people sensitize the fact that women have equal rights as far as if it's going out, as Sudeep said, for a girls' night out, or for even watching a match or being in a public place by itself. So these are the kind of things where we've seen that it's always the migrants who come who find it very difficult to accept the kind of scenarios, and that's where we need that when they enter a city like Bangalore or Delhi, they need to be made to understand that this is the culture of the cities and that has to be respected, and law cannot be taken into their own hands.
Right, Vijayji, but tell us the scenario in Bangalore itself. I've not, I've not hung out in bars for a very long time, and I'm sure even all those who are watching this conversation would like to know, has anything changed? Is Bangalore less safe for women as it was earlier?
Certainly not. This is something where we're seeing that a lot of women do find the kind of difficulties that women in Delhi or other places find.
So it's become less safe.
Recently also we found that there was an incident in the metro train where a woman was heckled by three men, and interestingly all three of them were educated technical professionals. It's not that they were from some village or from some streets. They were people who took the law for granted, knowing very well that the metro was under CCTV surveillance always. But this attitude of flirting with law breaking is something that makes these people think that they can get away with any kind of thing. And it's only when the media highlighted that their videos were played out continuously that we saw that the law actually caught up with them when two of them surrendered under pressure from their peers in the IT companies where they worked. So this is the kind of thing that we need to ensure that people have to be brought to book, and the law has to be stronger in terms of enforcement and not just in books, so that people don't get the comfort that they can be caught. And this is where the role of the media, the role of the police, the role of the law agencies is something that has to work collectively to ensure that every citizen, man or woman, gets the same kind of comfort wherever he is in a public place, especially when he or she is in a public place having a good time with friends.
Right, Vijayji talked about all stakeholders playing a collective role and, taking up that responsibility. But, again, I'm coming back to my initial question. You talked of the class issue, you talked of the migrant issue. But here in Bangalore, techies molested a girl. And even, again, I'm coming back to the Chanakya-Puri issue. The people inside the restaurant did nothing. I mean, I would like to ask the bouncers, how does their conscience allow them to take their paychecks end of the month when they're actually standing there doing nothing, when a woman who is a customer of the restaurant is being harassed?
Well, again, I think it comes down to psyche of not respecting women enough. But I'd like to respond to what he said about laws and about stringent laws. See, I grew up in Kuwait. I spent 18 years of my life there, and there are very stringent laws. There is no small punishment for eve teasing or raping or molesting or anything. And also Kuwait was a place which was not as fundamentalist as, say, Iraq or Saudi Arabia, and it wasn't maybe as open as Dubai. So it was somewhere in the middle, but because of stringent laws, I can't think of one incident where I was ever made to feel, I had my teenage years there, I was ever made to feel uncomfortable. There may have been the local leering or jeering a little bit, but there was never really anything more than that. So that really makes me wonder about how, I think the impact there, or the thing to see there is, we have to take the best of each and every society. Every society has its, not so very good side. And like in Kuwait, of course, the fact that the other thing that may have helped the situation is they don't serve alcohol legally there. Now, of course, alcohol is privately, consumed in people's homes and parties, but it's not something you could do publicly. Now, of course, we know alcohol, of course, aggravates the situation, but that's another issue because we don't see that being banned anytime soon. But of course, that gives us the license and of people's minds that somehow alcohol is better than drugs because it is legal. So anyway, that's another issue for another day. But you know, talking about stringent laws, I come again to the Nirbhaya case that you mentioned. Now, I remember when the Supreme Court verdict came out, and or even before the verdict came out, and they, you know, it was in trial in court, and they talked about how it should receive the rarest of rare. It is the rarest of rare case, and frankly, I found that a little unfair, and because to any woman who's been raped, it is the rarest of rare case in her life.
Of course.
So to call one that has been more brutal than the other or less brutal, I mean, in terms of qualifying a punishment, one can maybe use that as a qualifier for meting out the right and appropriate punishment. But in terms of rarest of rare care, any woman who's been raped, it is, you know, rare in her case. And so therefore, I think what worked in Kuwait was consistent, constant, stringent punishment.
Are you also saying?
It wasn't making one case, you know, up there with capital punishment and making the regular cases with much lighter punishments.
Fine, I take your point on the stringent law thing, but are you also saying that the fact that, you know, drinking, the alcohol, I mean, are you in favor of, you know, men, it's okay for men to drink at private parties, but not drink in restaurants because that aggravates, because even a woman might want to enjoy a drink.
No, absolutely, I'm not against regressive policies at all. I mean, freedom is what we all have. The only thing is we have to exercise our freedom responsibly. And we can't live in a world where there isn't alcohol and there isn't drugs and all of that, no matter whether you ban it or not. But I think freedom comes with responsibility, and we in the metros need to understand that and be aware that, you know, we can't live in a fool's paradise. We can't pretend that everybody around us is like us and has had the same conditioning and maybe the lifestyle that we've had. And
all right.
so to believe that, so, you know, even with me, I mean, you know, to my friends or, you know, to my daughter, I would say, you know, always do what you feel is appropriate. You know, you don't have to be so cool to fit in or not fit in. You know, now again, you know, what you wear or what you don't wear is a very fine line, because at the end of the day, you may say the girl was wearing something and therefore, but then we all know incest and things like that have nothing to do with what the girl is wearing. So that's a very tricky line to go down. But I believe just being aware of what you feel makes you comfortable and not comfortable.
So you're trying to say that, you know, you assess the situation and then you...
Personally, every situation is different.
All right. That was Sudeep's personal thoughts on, you know, where to cross the line and what line to cross. Okay, we have with us on Google Hangout now Shaila Rashid. Shaila Rashid is an activist with Aisha. Shaila, thank you so much for joining the conversation. We were just talking about the incident that happened at Chanakapuri. There was a recent incident in Bangalore, which Vijay ji just talked about. What are your first thoughts, you know, despite the fact that the consciousness of the nation and many parts of the world were shaken? Can you hear me, Shaila?
Turn off the camera.
All right. Shaila, if you can hear me, can I have your reaction on the Chanakapuri incident that happened where a couple was molested inside a lounge bar? The bouncers did nothing. The security of the restaurant did nothing. Shaila, can you hear me? All right. I think Shaila is unable to, you know, we are unable to connect, get an audio.
I can make a point here.
Yeah.
You know, there is a movie out there, you know, which talks about compliance like this. You're talking about the bouncers specifically. Why didn't they do anything?
Yes.
There was a case in the US where there was a prank caller. He would call up these fast food outlets, and on the phone he would say, "I'm a police officer," and just by his conversation over the phone in an authority voice, he would manage to tell a supervisor that some girl under her has done some petty crime, like rob some money out of the cash counter. And just through the authority over the phone, he would manage to make the supervisor, all the girl's colleagues, even the male colleagues, strip her naked, make her do the most horrific terrible things that you can't imagine, and this would go on all day long just based on a phone call of a man who is claiming to be a police officer and is not there in presence, has no backup, has no reason why he has not showed up for 12 hours.
And how are you linking it to this?
Linking because when you say bouncers didn't do anything, I mean, it is shocking to note that the whole staff there of this fast food restaurant carried on with what the voice on the phone told them to do, until finally, after 12 hours, a man who she brought in, who was a construction worker or something, who did work around the outlet, said, you know, who the hell is this and what do you want? And the guy said, oh, I just called for some burgers, and he hung up. Now, this man has done this serially over 400 outlets across the US.
So you're trying to say that sometimes they become numb?
No, it's about compliance. You know, it's about, I mean, I'm just telling you that people are scared of authority. You know, I'm just telling you.
Let me bring in Hisse here. Hisse is with us, and she wants to share her experience of, being in Delhi and, her experiences. Hisse, can you hear me?
Hello, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, Hisse, tell us your thoughts. Tell us your thoughts on, I'm personally raising the point of why nothing was done. Are women not even secure inside a lounge bar, inside a restaurant? That is my question.
Yeah, sorry, I mean, I'm not able to get you what you're saying, but yes, I was reading about the Chanakyapuri incident the other day, and hello?
Yes, I can hear you, Hisse.
So I was reading about the Chanakyapuri incident the other day, and I could totally relate to the incident because the similar incident happened with me as well. That too in a 5-star hotel in Delhi, you know. So and me and my friend, she'd come to Delhi. She wanted to go partying. So she and I and two of our male friends, we went to a hotel, like this 5-star hotel in Delhi, out to party. So when we were having fun and as usual, and things like that. So suddenly this guy comes.
Hisse,
What the hell you're doing?
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
So I just freed myself from his grip, and then
Hisse, I'm losing your voice.
But the bouncer did not just do anything.
Okay.
And I was shocked. Yeah, in Delhi.
Okay. I from what I understood from what you said.
So the same thing happened with me. The bouncer just did not do anything.
All right. Let me bring in Vijay ji here. Vijay ji, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can.
All right. You just heard about another incident. We had a caller telling us about, a similar incident that she faced where she was, the bouncer did nothing in a 5-star restaurant. Now, we also had Sudeep tell us about, the fact that sometimes people, just the compliance, they comply.
I mean, here, if the bouncers
So there was a group of men molesting a girl, and the bouncers just decided to stand by and do nothing ultimately. What is your reaction to that kind of a psyche, the psyche we are talking about?
Well, Nilanjana, see, this is something which does happen with a lot of people, and this is something where there has to be a decision taken by the victim. In this case, I would have advised to say that in case there was an issue which happened, she should have taken it to the logical conclusion, gone to the nearest police station, filed a complaint, and then ensured that the action of was taken not just against the person who held her, but also against the security of the hotel, because this is something where under the law, any premises of a property, if guarded by a private security agency, they are equally responsible if anything wrong happens.
Right.
And in this case, if she had approached the police or maybe a women's group the next morning, it would have been to some extent that there could have been some kind of at least fear that would have got into it.
All right.
The fact that we let it go is something where these guys get encouraged for a bigger action maybe in the future.
All right. Let me talk to. Let me try and reach Shehla Rashid again. Shehla, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Can you?
All right. Hi, Shehla. I'm Nilanjana. And the question we're asking is, of course, this after the December 2012 case, despite the fact that the collective consciousness of the nation was shaken, despite that, women continue to be harassed and eve-teased. Your first reaction on the episode that happened in Chanakyapuri, where inside a posh South Delhi restaurant, the security did nothing.
Okay, I don't think I heard your question clearly, but let me just say what I feel about the incident.
Yeah.
I mean, one is this this whole business of profiling women as good or bad,
Yes.
this construction of who's a good woman who needs to be respected and who is the bad woman who doesn't deserve respect. Mr. Vijay just said that he rightly suggested that this woman should have gone to the police station and she should have taken it to the logical level. But we actually know, I mean, anyone who has worked with, say, rape survivors or, molestation, women who have faced molestation, anyone who has worked with rape survivors knows that when we approach the police, there are all sorts of questions asked about the appearance of a woman, about her character, about her past history, whether she was with a boy, whether she was not with a boy, whether she was drunk.
Yes.
And I don't think that a woman would get a very good treatment in a police station if she's saying that I was having a drink. I mean, to what extent does the society recognize the right of who have a drink and be herself? And first assumption that is made about a woman who is, say, drinking in a bar or drinking with her friends is that she
Yes.
is solicited, right?
Right.
And if she gets any unsolicited attention, it is not treated as unwanted. So I don't know how the police station would be able to help, because they have all these assumptions. मैडम आप दारू क्यों पी रही थी, मैडम आप होटल में क्यों थी, मैडम आपके साथ आपके बॉयफ्रेंड क्यों नहीं थे, मैडम आपके साथ आपके बॉयफ्रेंड क्यों थे. So all these questions, I mean, anyone
So,
who works with rape survivors knows that these questions are asked.
Shaila, let me also, I was just trying to contact you with a response to what Sudeep said. Sudeep was talking that, a woman probably needs to understand these real issues about the fact that the society is insensitive to a lot of these women who are actually being themselves and trying to have a good time. So maybe women should refrain from doing certain things. Do you agree with that?
No, I'm sorry, I interject. I didn't say refrain from doing anything, but I said as women, I mean, I am as much
Because you didn't go out with your friends that night.
But that's because I don't live in a fool's paradise, and that's all I'm saying. I think as women, though we want to exercise our rights, and we must, but having said that, everything in life is in context. You have to know where you are and who you are with. Even
Just let me ask you one question. You are wearing a sari or a salwar kameez and you are in a lounge bar. Have you or have you not been harassed or eve-teased? I have.
No,
I don't think it's
like
about the clothes I wear.
No,
I
I
don't
don't.
think it's-
No, no, I haven't said that about clothes at all. I said
No,
clothes
I'm-
is a very tricky line because women are
Because
raped
no, but what
irrespective
Shaila
of what they
is
wear.
talking about, what were you wearing, who were you with, all these issues matter.
No, all I'm saying is as a woman, when we exercise our rights, we just, we also, on the other hand, can't be living in a fool's paradise. We need to see the world as it is and not as it should be. You know, in our mind, we want this ideal world, but, the world is not there and it will never be.
But
so
don't
we
you
have
think
to,
it is up to you and me?
so we have to slowly fill that gap in.
Yes.
But, so we have to work from where we are to where we should be. If we start from this is where we should be, then you're going to completely
it for me, Sudeep.
be cross
Operationalize it
purposes.
for me. Tell me how. Tell me how. Seriously, I want to know, and I'm sure a lot of women want to know. I completely agree with what you're saying. You cannot just go out there and think that, oh, nothing will happen. I'm fine. I'm safe. I will be
Yeah,
safe.
I mean, all I'm talking
But
about
how-
is a heightened sense of awareness. I mean, as much as I travel and I like to wear, my dresses or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
whatever.
And I'm all for women's lib, and all for women's equality. But I myself wouldn't personally want to wear those clothes walking down the street because I would feel I am putting myself in a vulnerable position.
But
I know I should be able to exercise my right. I know I should be able to, but I would make the choice not to, just to protect myself. Though I wish it wasn't that situation, but
No,
the
my
fact
point
is,
is,
the
my
world
point
is
is
what
you
it is.
might not be protected even if you are not
I
wearing.
agree. I completely agree
My
with you.
point is that.
I completely agree with you. So we come down to basically making the best of a bad situation. I mean, what are the little measures that we can take? Of course, changing the psyche of men, of course, changing the power dynamics in this country is one of the biggest issues as far as any kind of crime on women. And it's when a crime on a woman is done, it's not about sex, it's about a power dynamic. So of course, as like I said, I started the show with saying that it's the psychology that needs to be changed. But all I'm saying is, while we are changing the psychology, it will take time. maybe we can take a few measures when we feel, I feel a little vulnerable here. So I always feel, do the thing that makes you feel comfortable. Don't do what you think, I must. Do what makes you feel right and comfortable.
No, I don't think too many women want to be a rebel out there. There are so many women who are with their friends in a place they consider secure. She was not out on the streets.
For
you
sure,
know.
yes.
She was not out
In a
on the
restaurant.
streets. She was inside a South Delhi restaurant where she was having a good time with her friend, with her fiance. Now, a woman will feel secure in a place, should feel secure in a place like that, isn't it?
No, I completely agree with
And
you.
suddenly, out of the blue, some men pass comments and they protest and they are beaten up and nobody does anything.
Yeah, and
I think it is just so shameful,
it is, of course it is. But but then comes back to, the point that I reiterate, that the world is not utopia. The world is an ugly place a lot of the times. So as much as we want to change the world, but we have to be aware of it.
No, what would you tell women like that? Don't go to a nightclub with your friend?
No, I wouldn't say that. No, I would just say always be aware, keep your intuition, up. Keep your antennas up. When we make choices, we have to be ready to and be willing to know what we're walking into. So when you're walking into a situation which is maybe puts you in a vulnerable spot, just be prepared. That's all I'm saying. Just be prepared, have your awareness heightened, know that this place could have some elements which I could.
All right. We are trying to, all of you have some comments to make. Please, all you have to do is log on to www.indiapostlive.com. Give us your comments on this. I'm waiting for your tweets also. And in fact, we have somebody who has just called us on Skype and she wants to give us her comments. Gunjan. Hi, Gunjan. Can you hear me? Gunjan Dua is from New Delhi and she has just connected with us on Skype. She wants to say something about this.
Yeah, hi.
Hi Gunjan, can you hear me? Okay. Gunjan, your comments, we are having a conversation on
Yes, very much. Hi, how are you?
unsafe cities. I'm fine Gunjan, thank you. Your comments please.
Yes. Yeah, one thing I want to quote here is, number one, I read India Today in the morning, and what I hear, number one is that we've had 2 rapes in past 24 hours. Okay, and
No, the statistics are much more actually.
Sorry.
The statistics are higher, but I get your point. Go on.
No. I'm just citing about past 24 hours, and we are talking about 2 gang rapes. So of course, statistics are any day higher. These are which have been reported. But
right.
Yeah. And when I have to talk about this, I also want to talk about, it's not just about that you're going in a place which is more like a slum where all this is happening, or you have to go to a place like Shakti Mills for that matter. You go to a place like Chanakyapuri. I want to really cite this.
Yes.
I want to name the place of the lounge. The lounge I want to really talk about is Pepper, Kebab and Grill and Lounge, whatever, in Chanakyapuri.
Yes.
Where one of these incidents happen, a girl and a boy go there, they sit there for a bit and they have 4 hooligans looking at them, passing on comments.
Yes.
And then what happens is a major fight happens for about 15 minutes and the bouncers are just looking at what is happening. The tamasha is going on and they're just watching what is happening, not even trying to, stop the matter. They're mute. And then what I hear is that Chanakyapuri police has been bribed.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
And they've been bribed. The matter happened 3 days back. And Mail Today, again, they mentioned about this. There was this news section on Impact. When they wrote about this, just after that, the pub got shut down. The license got cancelled. And after which what happens is, those 2 inspectors, one was the inspector, one was a sub-inspector, they got suspended. Now, my question is, number one, we know we are not safe. But all those who come out with torches and candles and they go to India Gate and places like those, now I want to understand, these are the people, you have. What my point is basically, you go out, you want to outrage, you want to tell people that yes, it makes a lot of difference. One of these bouncers must have also gone, you never know, for that December 16th thing. Now when something is happening,
No, the issue,
I
Gunjan,
stand-
is of respecting women. What Sudeep and what Vijay Grover, who was earlier with us on the show, told us, it's about the fact that even these people come from places where women are not respected.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Chanakyapuri is supposed to be a VVIP area amidst
Yes.
all these embassies. You don't even expect safety out there. I mean, what's wrong with people? What's wrong with people who are sitting and watching? You're talking about the system. Police ne ye nahi kiya, police ne wo nahi kiya, aapne kya kiya? You're a bouncer, you're standing and just watching the show.
No, that's exactly
My
the point we are
question-
raising here, Gunjan. That is precisely the point we are raising here. That a woman is not even feeling secure within the premises of a lounge bar. Right.
Yes.
Sudeep, would you like to quickly respond to that? We have to go on to our next conversation. Quickly, would you like to respond to
Yeah,
what
I'd just like to say that, yeah, I know it seems like a hopeless situation, and every day we think India is, I think it's listed as the worst of the G20 nations as far as safety of women goes. But I think, you know, every time a woman raises a voice, every time in her home, this is not only happening on the streets and in bars, this is happening in people's homes. You know,
yes.
we go with our candles and our marches on the streets and talk about other people being raped. What about, you know, what's happening in your home? What's happening in your neighbor's home? What's happening in your community? You know, so start from there. Everything that happens is just a bigger picture of what's happening in our homes
Right.
and in our communities. So start making the change there with the help that you work with in your offices, in your homes, with your friends, with people you work with. And I'm sure slowly and gradually we will make a difference.
we will make a difference. Shehla, your response to that? Shehla, can you hear me? Sudeep just said, start within your home, start making that change in the psyche, and then slowly the movement will, you know, translate to a bigger,
Yeah, and I
palpable
wanted to
thing. Yeah.
earlier respond to a point wherein, I mean, we were making a distinction between what is supposed to be a high-profile area and a regular street. I think that unless we stop making this distinction, we won't get anywhere because we have to start contesting all of these safe space. You know, this whole construction of what is a safe space for us and where we should be and we shouldn't be. Because if we stop claiming these spaces, if we stop claiming the streets, the bus, the metro, if we stop claiming these spaces, ultimately all of these spaces, including hotels and restaurants and all the places that we call high profile, we will be blocked out from these places. So, I mean, yes, everyone wants to feel safe in a nice restaurant and everything, but at the same time, it's also important to keep in mind that there are women who are working in BPOs and they don't get home before 8 o'clock in any case, and they use public transport, and they don't have the luxury to sit in a five-star hotel with their fiance having nice drinks.
Right.
I mean, women should be able to be out on the street and claim that space as well.
Right.
Because the levels, you know, the more we stop claiming these
It's
spaces,
more of a
the more
perception, Shehla. It's
people
more of a perception, you know, that you think that because I am there, because I'm going there, like what Hisse also talked about. Hisse said this happened to her in a five-star restaurant when she was with her friends. Hisse, can I quickly get your reaction to what Shehla just said? You know, you talked of a five-star hotel where this happened to you. Shehla is saying that, you know, you should feel safe anywhere. Why just a five-star hotel?
Yeah, I mean, in your question, Nilanjan, I'm sorry because audio is bad, but going back to what Ms. said, that at that point of time, when that incident happened with me,
Yes.
he told me that I should have come to a logical conclusion. But what logical conclusion is he talking about? Is he talking about that I go to cops? And what Shehla said, that going to a cop is another form of harassment, because he'll ask me 10,000 questions about
Yes.
why are you there? I mean, why are you wearing such clothes? Why
Right.
are you having a drink? And all that of sort. So the only logical conclusion that I could come is just leave the place. Just leave the place.
Just leave the place.
And never
All
go
right.
back to that place.
He say thank you. He say thank you for that. That anger is very palpable. Just leave the place and never go back. Shehla, your last comments on what Hisse has just said. Unfortunately, you know, I mean, I could sense a lot of anger. You know, she had a very bad experience. But you know what she's also right. You know, I mean, obviously the police would ask her uncomfortable questions. Your last comments, Shehla.
Yeah, I think this needs on a societal level, this needs a behavioral change towards, towards how we perceive women and their ownership of the public space, finally. And this has to be, as someone rightly pointed out, that this has to start from the family, because
Yes.
the more we confine ourselves to safe spaces, we tend to think that we are safe, but we are actually not, because the family is a huge site for violence. I think, I mean, in a country like India, where women are, more confined to the private space rather than the public space, there is still a lot of violence happening against women, and that is inside the homes, from marital rape to incest rape to domestic violence to
Right.
dowry deaths and whatnot.
Right.
So yes, I mean, it requires a behavioral change towards how we perceive women in general.
Right, right. Thank you so much, Shehla. Thank you so much for your thoughts. Final thoughts from you, Sudeep.
Yeah, I mean, Nilanjana, I'd just like to say again that, we repeat, we should be able to claim the space on the metro, we should be able to claim the
Yes.
space in the bar, on the street.
Irrespective, yes.
So that's what I say, we keep saying we should, but we aren't where we should be.
Yes.
We are where we are. And so the only way to cover that gap from where we are to where we should be is to make that voice heard. If the cop makes you uncomfortable, it doesn't matter. If you do it today, you'll make the next person, you'll make it easier for the next person to do it. The second person, woman, does it, it makes it easier for the third person. So no matter how uncomfortable it is, be brave and raise your voice.
So the fight needs to be fought. Gunjan, first of all, I would like to thank you so much for joining us on this conversation and the questions you've raised. Your final comments on what Shehla and Sudeep have said. All right. We seem to have a slight connection problem there. But thank you so much. I would like to thank all our guests, Hisse for joining us and Gunjan as well, Vijay ji and of course Shehla. Thank you so much for joining us on the conversation. Please carry on the conversation on www.indiapostlive.com. Send us your tweets, #IndiaPostLive. This is an issue that will only continue and we must go on talking about it. Thank you so much.